Hello and welcome. Today, we are going to answer the question of which is better, British English or American English? And today, finally, I will give you the definitive answer. Maybe. So, let me tell you how it's going to work. I will be using two main criteria. Number one, does the word make sense? Is it logical? Is it intuitive? And number two, does the word create confusion? Or, worse, does it sound completely ridiculous? Spoiler alert, ladybird is actually a bug. Okay, now there are some words where there is no clear winner, like crisps and chips, or trousers and pants. One is obviously not superior to the other. I'm not going to analyze these words, but for others like soccer and football, oh yes, we are going to get down and dirty with those words. So, on this side, we will have the British score, and on this side, the United States. Are you ready? Then let's jump in. The first two words we are going to analyze are boot and trunk. Now, boot is what they say in the UK, and in the US, we call the back of the car the trunk. Let's start with the American word. A trunk. A trunk is where you put things. You store things in a trunk. So it follows a certain logic to use this word for the back of your car, the place where you put things. Now, let's look at the British word. A boot. A boot? A boot? I have no idea why they call it a boot. You? Any logic to this one? No? Okay, so I'm going to give 1 point to the North Americans for this one. Okay, next one is dummy versus pacifier. Now, I don't really know the origin of dummy, but in today's English, on both sides of the pond, it refers to a stupid person. I'm not sure why we need to insult a baby. Okay, yes, they are incredibly stupid, but hey, weren't we all incredibly stupid when we were only 6 months old? Okay, so now let's talk about pacifier. Pacifier, on the other hand, seems pretty descriptive, quite accurate, to pacify. Why do you use a binky or a pacifier? Well, to calm, to make tranquil, to pacify. I'm gonna have to give another point to the North Americans. Okay, it's 2-0. Come on, Brits, you have to catch up. All right, the next one is a sport with two different names, depending on the continent. Football in Europe and soccer in America. Okay, I am sorry, but this is a no-brainer. Americans, we got this one totally wrong. I'm sorry, even if American football came first, for this one, we should have realized how ridiculous that name is. It's like calling basketball the long jump. Yes, you occasionally jump long, but calling it the long jump would be ridiculous. And football? What were we thinking? American football is a sport where only one player is allowed to use his foot. And if anyone else tries to use their foot, it's a penalty. Yeah, and we call it football. You know what? This one is so bad, so ridiculous. I'm actually going to give the Brits 2 points for this one. I mean, come on. Okay, so now it's tied up 2-2. Okay, next one, maths or math. This is a hard one. On the one hand, the British word is more accurate. It is plural, mathematics. So logic dictates that it should be maths. But, isn't the whole point of an abbreviated word to shorten it and make it easier to say? And if that's the case, then math is definitely easier to say than maths. I mean, really. So, sorry, UK, another point for American English. 2-3. Next up is this object right here. That's right. Where do we throw our garbage, trash, or rubbish? In the UK, they say bin. In the US, we say waste paper basket. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the obvious first. Waste paper basket is way too long. I mean, it's not even just paper basket, it's waste paper basket. Could you be any more specific? And it doesn't even leave any room for other waste objects you might want to throw in there. No, sorry, in this container, only waste paper. No waste tinfoil, no waste plastic, no waste chewed up piece of gum wrapped in a candy papper. No, only waste paper. And the British word is so elegant, so easy to say. Throw it in the bin. What can I throw in the bin? Anything I want. It's a bin. I think it's pretty obvious where my vote goes on this one. Another point for those islands off the coast of France. Okay, well, the tally is 3-3. Watch out, the Brits are coming back strong. Okay, the next one is Lady Bird versus Lady Bug. Really? An insect that's called a bird. What happened here? I mean, the Americans were able to get it right. Not that it was very difficult. A small insect? Let's call it a lady bug. Done. Turn off the lights. Let's go home. But in the UK, what happened? I can only imagine what happened. You know, somebody was looking at this tiny little red dot of a bug and said, "Oh, hey, let's put bird in its name." Just to mess with people. Not only is that wrong, it is sick. You know what? I'm going to have to give the Americans 2 points for that. You know, not because, oh, Americans are so intelligent calling a bug a bug. No, but because calling an insect a bird is so twisted and demented. I'm sorry, but that has to be penalized. So, 2 points for the US. Okay, moving on. The next term is horse riding versus horseback riding. Okay, first the UK term, horse riding. Horse riding is obvious, clear, simple. Okay, now let's look at horseback riding. It's very specific, isn't it? I mean, very, very specific. Almost ridiculously specific. Is there another way to ride a horse? I mean, could you have horse neck riding, or horse butt riding, horse stomach riding? No, no, no. I am sorry, Americans. This makes no sense. 1 point to the Brits. Okay, the score is now 4-5. All right, the next one is pavement versus sidewalk. So, pavement. Pavement is a general term for asphalt, the material that is used to make the street and to make the place where you walk. But, you know, it's a little like calling a door wood. Yes, okay, it's made out of wood, but many things are also made out of wood. On the other hand, sidewalk is very intuitive. Are you walking on the street? No, I'm walking on the side of the street. Where? On the sidewalk, of course. So, I think the Americans got this one right for logic and clarity. And they didn't overdo it like with horseback riding. They're not calling it side feet walk or something ridiculous like that. So, well done, Americans. 1 point for the new continent. Okay, next one. What do we put in our cars? The Brits say petrol, and we say gas or gasoline in the US. Now, petrol has its logic with its origin in petroleum. Okay, so that makes sense. And gas. Well, gas is very general. You know, it actually refers to something that's not a liquid or a solid, but a gas. So I guess gas is an abbreviation of gasoline, but it can be confusing. And for the resource of gas that's used for heating and creating energy, well, in the US you have to call it natural gas. You have to specify. So the word gas already has enough meanings as it is. America, we don't need to give it another meaning. So I'm going to have to give this one to the Brits. Yeah, so 1 point for petrol. Definitely superior. Okay, so the tally is 5-6. The next one refers to where we do our necessities. Now, in both countries, we have a lot of different words for this place. You can call it the toilet, the restroom, the bathroom, the john, the water closet, the WC, the powder room. The list goes on and on. But let's take the two most common words from each country. In the UK, the toilet, and in the US, the bathroom. Now, I've always thought that saying the toilet was too specific, too graphic. I mean, if I'm going to the bathroom, it's obvious why I'm going there. Everyone understands that I'm not going to take a bath. But I don't need to name the specific part of the bathroom that I'm going to use. But for accuracy, I think toilet is actually better. I have been in some cafes where you go to the toilet and that's exactly where you go. You are in a small room. There's no sink, there's no bath, there's no bidet. There's just a toilet. And I think, well, I really have gone to the toilet. There is no denying it. So, even though I'm not completely convinced, I'm going to give this point to the UK. Wow, would you look at that? The score is tied 6-6. My gosh, this is exciting. It is neck and neck. Okay, this last category will have to be the deciding factor. Let's take a look at counting floors in buildings. In the US, when you walk into a building, you are on floor number 1, the first floor. But in the UK, when you walk into a building, you're on the ground floor. Then, when you go up 1 level, you are on the first floor. Now, I'm not really sure which is better. On the one hand, it makes sense to have a ground floor. If you're in a building that only has 1 level, you're not going to call it the first floor. It's simply the ground floor. Indeed, it does touch the ground. But on the other hand, when you count, you don't start with 0. I remember my son when he was learning to count. For a while, he insisted on starting with 0. No, papa, no, papa. 0, 1, 2, 3. And even though it made a certain type of sense, it always gave him the wrong result, obviously. So let's imagine you're talking about a 5-story building, a building with 5 levels or floors. So does it make sense that when you go into the elevator, or lift, like the Brits say, that you would only be able to go up to the 4th floor? I mean, it's a 5-story building, so let's go to the top floor. The 5th floor? No, the 4th floor in a 5-story building. But I do like the logic of a ground floor. You know what? I just can't decide. It's too close to call. Hey, I have an idea. Why don't I let you make the decision? What do you think? What is more logical? Which is better? To give a different name to the ground floor, or simply start with number 1? This is a big decision. Don't take it lightly. Please, let me know in the comments how they call it in your language in your country. Do you have a ground floor, or do you start with the first floor? And tell me what you think is better, because this will be the deciding factor in declaring a winner in the battle for whose English makes more sense. Okay, well, I look forward to reading your comments and finally solving this debate once and for all. Hey! Sorry, did I scare you? Well, I hope you liked the video, and please, would you consider liking and even subscribing? That will really help us continue to help you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I'm Mike, and see you later.